Tonight is the night the Vancouver Whitecaps and their great fans have been waiting for. It's the Concacaf Champions Cup semifinal, and this isn't just any ordinary fixture, as the Whitecaps welcome for the first time the Lionel Messi Roadshow to BC Place. Arguably the GOAT, along with Suarez, Busquets, Alba, and company, making their way into BC Place tonight. The first match of two over the next week will decide who moves on to the Continental Club Final. Special night here on One Soccer. Thrilled to have you along for the ride. Gareth Wheeler, the one, the only Jordan Wilson with you as well. Pretty special. Lionel Messi playing in a semi-final against the Vancouver Whitecaps. No ordinary regular season MLS game. The stakes are incredibly high.
Sorry, what's his name?
Lionel Messi.
Never heard of the guy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Big night, Wheels.
It's the second of the two semi-final fixtures. Cruz Azul played Tigres to a 1-1 draw. The road to get to this point has been a wild ride for the Whitecaps. They lost their first game in this competition to Saprissa before beating the Costa Rican side, then going back-to-back away goals rule victories, dispatching of Monterrey and Pumas on their way to this marquee fixture tonight. Over 54,000. It's a sellout tonight in BC Place, and many of those fans here to see Messi and company, as well as joining and getting along for the ride with the Vancouver Whitecaps. In BC Place for us tonight is Christian Jack. Hello, KJ. It's been a fun week in Vancouver. Can you put into words the magnitude, what this game means here tonight in BC Place?
Yeah, there's a lot of emotions, you know. First of all, it's a continental semi-final, so that carries a lot of weight in the football world, soccer world, whichever your preference is. And then, of course, there's the opponent, and literally there's thousands of people standing right around me right now with phones and jerseys and getting ready for Miami to come out of this tunnel. So we're all awaiting an absolute eruption inside this stadium, because you know who is going to come onto the pitch to warm up very shortly. It's probably happening as I'm speaking right now, but to put the event really into context, Jesper Sorensen told me yesterday, this is an event that we have to understand is special, but we have to make sure that we just play the game and not the occasion. And with the Whitecaps, I think they know that a continental semi-final is what they deserve. With Inter Miami on the other side, Inter Miami are used to this kind of circus. They've played in Cleveland instead of going to Columbus. They've just played in front of 60,000 in Chicago as well. So, of course, the continental semifinal is a lot of weight for a team like the Whitecaps. But with Inter Miami on the other side, it's been very interesting over the last couple of days. They arrived yesterday. They trained at the Whitecaps facility. I was there. Word got out. People were climbing trees. People were trying to get over the fence to try and have one look at Messi, Suarez, and company.
Yeah, it's wild. We showed some crowd shots behind you, KJ. Lots of Argentina kit, lots of Barcelona kit. I mean, it's more than just a competitive fixture for many who are in attendance here tonight, which means it's all important for the Vancouver Whitecaps playing at home in the first leg of two to approach this game with a level of focus. You've been around the group for an extended period this week. Where's their confidence level at? I mean, it should be sky high, top of the table in MLS, but tonight just seems a little bit different, doesn't it?
You're right, Gareth, that their confidence is high. And by the way, it's real. It's authentic. You know, this is a team that hasn't accomplished a ton over the last few years. Obviously, domestically, Canadian Championship is one thing. But they believe that they are ready to play in a game like this, regardless of the opponent. You know, we've all been around teams for a very long time. I've had the pleasure of covering teams for the best part of 3 decades now. Jordan's played in them. And you know when you're around a group and they just have got that it, this team has got that it. They're just very, very connected. They've got great chemistry. They get along very, very well. It's real, it's authentic. And a lot of their players have been speaking to me the last few days. Some of them told me it's the best dressing room we have ever been involved in their professional career. And when they play on a pitch like tonight, Ryan Gauld's not there, but when you've got Kubas and you've got Pedro Vitti and others really leading the way with their work ethic, everybody else has fallen in line. And the best players of the Whitecaps set that tone from the start. And that's why tonight, they believe the collective will outweigh the stars from Miami.
All right, KJ, when the crowd gets up on their feet and cheering for Messi during warm-up, just pretend the applause is for you, okay? Just soak it all in, okay? We'll be back joining you at BC Place in a few moments' time. Here is the Vancouver Whitecaps starting 11. One change to the 0-0 draw against St. Louis on the weekend. Emmanuel Sabi comes out. Daniel Rios is going to join the starting 11, playing on the right side of the attack. It's his 6th start of the campaign. For the back four, it's their 6th consecutive start as well. The central midfield, it's the 5th game that they played as a unit. They're undefeated, 3 wins and a draw in games that they have featured. The Whitecaps have the best expected goal differential in Major League Soccer, the most goals scored, and tied for the best in terms of goals conceded as well. Let's hear more from their manager, Jesper Sorensen, about tonight's fixture.
Jesper, an enormous night for your club and the city. What is your message to the team to make sure that they play the game and not the occasion?
Yeah, that's actually going to be my message. Let's remember why we're here. Let's play the way we think the game, the way we think that we have the biggest chance to win it, and do what we are doing the best. So that will actually be my message to the players.
You say do what we do well. What are those areas that you want to see from your club?
Yeah, we are an aggressive, forward-minded team with running capacity that exceeds most teams. So I think that we should be up and running, getting the intensity up, try to play fast but with patience, and attack the opponents.
Special night, 60,000 almost in here. Messi on the other side. Can you allow yourself to enjoy it?
No, I don't think so. That's too much of a coach in me for enjoying it. I'm focused more than anything else, but I'm of course aware of the occasion and also aware of the opponents and some of the players that have been such great ambassadors of football for so many years. So of course afterwards I probably will sit back and look back at it and say, okay, a great night.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jesper.
Yeah, good luck.
He did smile. I like the stoic Danish demeanor. If it was Schmeichel or Eriksson playing, he'd be up for that. Let's talk about the biggest star that's playing. Ryan Gauld has been out, really the star player for this Whitecaps team, but Brian White just continues to produce. He has 9 goals in 14 games across all competitions. Actually didn't start the last Champions Cup match against Pumas, back in the starting 11. A lot's going to be expected of White here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to fill those shoes. And I think he's been doing it quietly, or you could say loudly, the past 2 seasons. Like, first player in Whitecaps history to record back-to-back 15-plus goal contributions. You look at him, Wheels, a fox in the box, a presence that demands the ball. He has no assists this season, but 9 goals because everyone is looking to whip in that ball and to set him up. And he's a danger man in that area.
The last time he played up top alongside Daniel Rios was in his 4-goal performance in the 5-1 victory a couple weeks back against Austin FC. White will be leading the line, the glue in the midfield. The Paraguayan Andreas Cubas has played Lionel Messi twice internationally before. It's his 100th start in all competition for the Whitecaps here tonight. He's got a big role in a big game ahead of him here.
He'll be busy, and he's going to embrace that, absolutely. I love the midfield for the Whitecaps and the balance that's there. He brings the tempo, Cubas. You have the energy from Berhalter, and the magic man is Vite. But for me, if he doesn't have a 10 out of 10 performance, it will be a very, very long night for the Whitecaps.
I should also mention Sam Adekubi, Jaden Nelson, the 2 Canadian national team players, back on the bench tonight, both returning from injury for the Whitecaps. So yes, that is some good news. As for Inter Miami, there was some question heading into tonight's game for some reason. I guess what happened last May, whether Messi would play or not. Come on, this is a semi-final of a massive cup competition. It was never in doubt. Suarez is starting, Sergio Busquets, the World Cup midfielder, Spanish winner, and Jordi Alba all in the 11. Alba actually did play at BC Place in the 2-1 victory for Inter Miami last season. Inter Miami are now unbeaten 4 in all competitions. Let's chat Lionel Messi a little bit, shall we? I mean, the question, it seems silly to ask, how do you slow him down? He's 37 years of age. He's not going to do a lot of defending, but how do the Whitecaps go out? Look at this resume, by the way.
Look at this.
Like,
I almost ran out of room.
No kidding. These numbers, I can't even count that high. Like,
Whoa.
It's ridiculous. And the thing is, in the game of football today, there's really 2 still global superstars. Yeah. One's Lionel Messi, one's still Cristiano Ronaldo. How do the Whitecaps try to limit any kind of damage here tonight?
I'm glad you chose the word limit, because people are saying, how do you stop? And you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. This guy is dangerous. The thing with Lionel Messi, which is why he'll always have everyone's respect, is that he changes games. that's not only because he's scoring goals, but it's the way that he moves and the way that he plays.
Woo.
Sometimes he's scoring goals like that to bring a side back, but oftentimes, Wheels, he's a quarterback. He's seeing plays that people think about making, but he can actually pass the ball and get the ball there. So, Jesper Sørensen said it, the Vancouver Whitecaps know it. You have to be on Messi the whole time because he makes the impossible possible.
Yeah, he loves to play between the lines as well. I just want to make sure that he's playing as close to his own goal, opposed to anywhere high up the field. When he gets the ball in between the lines and runs that back forwards, that's when you know you're in trouble. And the Whitecaps tonight have two very young fullbacks in Eddie Ocampo and Tate Johnson. I mean,
the confidence,
baptism by fire.
100%. The confidence that Inter Miami has once Messi gets on the ball, everyone starts making runs. They're like, oh, well, Messi will find me, and he typically does.
The Whitecaps are going to approach this game with a level of respect, obviously, for one of, if not the greatest player to ever play the game. Here are Brian White and Ali Ahmed on what it means to face Lionel Messi here tonight.
Just another game. I'm joking. No, Messi's definitely a player that almost everybody, has watched and, has praised and been in, just in awe of what he's been doing for how long, for 18, 19 years, And, arguably, like I said, one of the best to ever put on the boots, and being a professional myself, knowing how difficult it is to come in every single day and, do what he's done. It's special. So, like I said, there's a reason why we're going to have 55,000 people.
We have sold out seats, hopefully. There's more Vancouver Whitecap fans. Obviously, the attention that this game brings, the player that's coming, and the fandom that he brings with him. But hopefully, if they come as Messi fans, hopefully they stay as Vancouver Whitecap fans.
When you think of Lionel Messi, what do you think of?
He's the greatest player. In my opinion, he's the greatest player ever. And that's pretty much it.
I wonder if Cristiano Ronaldo was playing in America, people would say the same thing. I'm just saying. Look, he's a match winner.
Yeah.
Like in the last round against LAFC, he pretty much put his team on his back. That's what he's capable of. But it's the off-field stuff which adds an entirely different element. I mean, Vancouver Whitecaps in this competition have gone from having 12,000 and change to these Concacaf Champions Cup games to over 54,000 here tonight, the biggest crowd for a Whitecaps game since 1983. He's playing in NFL stadiums. Like MLS clubs are moving their regular season games to NFL stadiums. Like he played in Cleveland, Ohio, not in Columbus over the course of the weekend. So does playing Messi bring actual added pressure, or is it just a completely different dynamic?
I think it's a different dynamic. I think these Whitecaps players are playing at home. They obviously know the occasion and who they're playing against and the magnitude of that. But I think it's business. I think they're going into this match saying this is just another game that we could possibly win. They've had a tough road. When you think about that as well, of course this is Messi and this is going to be Messi Mania, and you're going to look and you're going to see Argentinian kits and Barcelona kits, Inter Miami kits in your own stadium, which is very weird, but it's also accepted because of who it is. But I think if they handle their business correctly, Wheels, this could be a positive turnout for them.
Yeah, it's a very uniquely North American thing in this sport.
Yeah.
Because everywhere else, he's just going to be another player, but here, it's the love of stars and celebrity, which takes things to a whole different level. All right, much more to come here on our pre-match show as we count down to kickoff. FIFA Vice President and Concacaf President, the Canadian himself, Victor Montagliani, will join the program, and Chris and Jack will join us yet again. The biggest of nights for the Whitecaps. Since 1979, it all plays out in a few moments' time right here on One Soccer. Floats it in. Gio, there it is! They are the kings of the North!
For too long, we've been told that greatness comes from somewhere else. Sorry, that ends now. We are the Canadian Premier League, proudly built for you, and by you across this sovereign land, ready to take on the beautiful game on our terms. We may be young, but give us time and underestimate us at your peril. We'll keep grinding until everyone knows exactly who we are. Rosters filled with homegrowns, Canadian kids who just needed a chance, with dreams as vast as our horizons, made right here in Canada for all the world to see. Season 7 is here. We are the Canadian Premier League. Get stuck in.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
This isn't your first time flying to show support for your team, but it is the first time you use the wrong kind of paint.
It says here you could try mayonnaise.
WestJet, where your story takes off.
Hellman's Spicy. Every squeeze of rich creaminess is deliciously spicy, with a kick of real chili peppers. Irresistible. Hellman's Spicy.
Oh, wow!
This is comfier than our actual couch.
Say no more.
Derek.
Oh, hey, we were just testing out your new patio set from Walmart.
And the barbecue. Add to cart.
My barbecue.
What a nice barbecue.
Leg 1 of the Concacaf Champions Cup semifinal, Whitecaps and Inter Miami coming your way at the top of the clock. A night like this is full of pomp and circumstance. Pomp and circumstance. All the dignitaries and the who's who are there, including our very own Christian Jack. Let's see who he's catching up with.
With Concacaf President Victor Montagliani, a man who gets to sleep in his own bed tonight in a continental semi-final. That doesn't happen very often, but this is an electric night here for Vancouver.
Yeah, very electric. The place is already buzzing. The city's been buzzing actually all season for these Whitecaps, and then obviously their great run in our Champions Cup, and obviously coming up against a pretty good side with a pretty good player.
I know you got a lot of clubs that you follow, obviously taking control of the entire Concacaf, governance of that, but this is also your hometown. You're a Vancouver boy. There's been a lot of discussion over the future of the Whitecaps, the stadium for the Whitecaps. How important is it to the city to have the Whitecaps?
I think it's very, very important. Obviously I'm very honored to be the chair of the World Cup, but having the Whitecaps stay in our home is just as important as the World Cup. Young people need to dream about professional football, not just national team football, and also it allows us to create the industry of football, which is one of the reasons why the Canadian Premier League was built. But it's important to keep the MLS teams as well, and having Vancouver in our city is of utmost importance. And I know that the city and the province and the city of Vancouver is behind that, and I'm very confident that a solution will be found in terms of infrastructure, and so I'm very positive about it.
Lovely to hear. Final one for you, Victor. You mentioned the World Cup will be here in June 26, but in June 25, the Gold Cup will be here. Canada kick off their competition in June. How excited are you for Concacaf to bring Canada here to this city?
Yeah, it's not just Canada. It's also a very tough opponent, Honduras, that we have traditionally had trouble with as Canada. Listen, tonight will be a sellout. I know, one of the reasons is the best player in the world's here, but I think the Vancouver Whitecaps deserve a sellout, just like our Canadian national team deserves a sellout. They're coming, it's really the only game in terms of that actually means something before they kick off for the World Cup. The rest will be friendlies, and, Jonathan David and Buchanan and all the other lads, I think, deserve a sellout. On June 17th against Honduras to kick them off and to hopefully have a great run of the Gold Cup. And obviously we have 15 other teams that want that as well. And the Gold Cup is a very special and has grown to be one of the preeminent tournaments in world football.
Very well said, Victor. Always a pleasure. Enjoy tonight, a special night.
Thank you, KJ.
Good stuff with Victor. Should have asked him, why aren't there more games at BC Place in the Gold Cup? I would have grilled him. I know he's FIFA vice president. I would have grilled. You're just rolling your eyes at me. We'll focus more on the job at hand that the Whitecaps face tonight against Lionel Messi and Inter Miami. Kickoff at the top of the clock right here on One Soccer.
Basketball is a very physical sport. There's so many times that I've got hit on the basketball court. Marks don't hold you back.
Movement leaves marks. Your antiperspirant shouldn't.
Degree Ultra Clear. Non-stop protection against white marks.
Here we go. Group A or Group B?
2A, 1B.
Allergies, B's.
Next kid.
Hey.
Application is done. Just waiting for the submit window. Whatever happens, I love you.
Oh my gosh, I'm feeling good about this.
They're in. Oh, yes.
What cable internet connection? We're not in.
When the stakes are high, why rely on cable internet? Switch to TELUS Pure Fiber, Canada's most reliable internet technology.
A guy like this, who relies on his truck for work, knows that his truck will take care of him if he takes care of his truck. And WeatherTech has always been the ultimate protection. From floor liners to no-drill mud flaps to tech liner for your truck bed to bump step to the handy under-seat storage system. And Cup Phone keeps phones secure in any cup holder. Order your ultimate protection today at weathertech.ca.
Oh, wow.
This is comfier than our actual couch.
Say no more.
Derek.
Oh, hey, we were just testing out your new patio set from Walmart.
And the barbecue. Add to cart.
My barbecue.
What a nice barbecue.
Canadian soccer fans. We're different. We cheer on the Reds while cheering out our motherlands and each other's lands. Soccer is in our hearts. Our roots are on display. Not to divide, but to unite. Because to us, soccer's more than just a game. It's who we are. From coast to coast to coast, it connects us all. Cheers to us. Cheers to the game.
We're just minutes away from the Concacaf Champions Cup semi-final first leg. Whitecaps and Inter Miami. Back to BC Place we go. Christian Jack joining me. You were in conversation with CEO and sporting director of the Whitecaps, Axel Schuster, this week, and he told you that plans for a new stadium are real. It's a little bit complicated with the team up for sale and how all of this works, and obviously nothing is guaranteed here, KJ. But how big, or are there consequences about tonight and how that plays out to the direct future for the Vancouver Whitecaps?
Yeah, I think it's very real. I think the timing is really important, and everybody around the club has agreed with me. And it's their time. It's the Whitecaps night. I know Messi's here, but it's also the end of a fantastic decade in Canadian soccer. You know, this week, Montreal Impact played in the very final of this competition, and I sat there in the second half thinking, they're going to win this. And then Dario Benedetto's got the hat-trick, and they didn't get over the line, but it was still their moment, 60,000 in a full stadium in Montreal. And then in 2016, obviously we move on to Toronto FC in 2018 at that moment as well. Toronto FC had that run in 2018 in the Champions Cup, but we've had the Women's World Cup here as well. We've had fantastic moments in that whole competition that now leads to a fantastic night here as well.
Great stuff, KJ. We'll catch up at halftime. Thank you for this. Back in studio joining me is Jordan Wilson. It's fitting that this team is going on this unprecedented run at a time where the off-field noise hasn't really seeped in to the on-field play. Through this competition, we saw some really good home performances by the Whitecaps, but both ended in draws, 1-1 against Monterrey and 1-1 against Pumas in two games where, quite frankly, they deserved to win. I just don't think they can get away with coming away with a draw here tonight. A good performance is required, but they need more than just a good performance here over the two legs.
Absolutely. I won't call Vancouver Whitecaps lucky. I will say they got it done in the nick of time. But when you're playing Inter Miami, when you're playing the Barca uncles, there's just magic, right, that they can produce probably later, and it favors them. So you have to start well. You have to make sure that first half, those chances that you're going to get, that you put them away. When I look at this Whitecaps side, they play great football. But if I'm in that locker room, if I'm one of those players, I'm saying we deserve to be here. Let's puncture them early. Let's make sure that they know what it's like to play at BC Place.
We watched it on the weekend. The Columbus Crew played Inter Miami. For me, they played Miami off the field. They put up an expected goals of over 3. Miami was outplayed, and Miami still won because they have match winners. Yeah. Do the Whitecaps have those players, the potential match winners, to own the moment? I think it's undeniable how good this Whitecaps team is, but they need to own the moment and rise to the occasion.
I couldn't agree more. To own the moment for sure. They do have match winners. We highlighted a few of them. Brian White, he's in great form. But when you go pound for pound, Inter Miami is favored. That is just what it is. One, because of Lionel Messi, but because of also what that team stands for. Those superstars, if you leave it to the last moment, they're probably going to be the ones to knock you out.
The new club, FIFA Club World Cup, like, the stakes are incredibly high here, and Miami is obviously an ambitious club. Let's make no bones about it. Vancouver in this tie to the soccer public in North America is an afterthought. They're expecting Inter Miami to go on and win this tie. It all starts here tonight. I think a win is required going back to Miami next Wednesday night. We had to wait an extra day for this because AC/DC was in town at BC Place on Tuesday and needed time to turn over the stadium. Let's hope that tonight it's Messi and company who are thunderstruck. Time to ring hell's bells. Bro, we could go through all of it.
You could.
The highway to hell runs through Vancouver. No?
That was a good one.
Let there be rock and roll tonight in Vancouver. It's the Whitecaps. It's Messi and company. They don't get bigger than this in terms of Canadian football. Sit back and enjoy Canada, and we'll be back at the half. Leg 1 in the Concacaf Champions Cup semifinal is now right here on One Soccer.
For too long, we've been told that greatness comes from somewhere else. Sorry, that ends now. We are the Canadian Premier League, proudly built for you and by you across this sovereign land, ready to take on the beautiful game on our terms. We may be young, but give us time and underestimate us at your peril. We'll keep grinding until everyone knows exactly who we are. Rosters filled with homegrowns, Canadian kids who just needed a chance, with dreams as vast as our horizons, made right here in Canada for all the world to see. Season 7 is here. We are the Canadian Premier League. Get stuck in.
Concacaf Champions Cup on One Soccer is brought to you by WestJet.
This isn't your first time flying to show support for your team, but it is the first time you use the wrong kind of paint.
It says here you could try mayonnaise.
WestJet, where your story takes off.
Concacaf Champions Cup on One Soccer is brought to you by Volkswagen.
Are you having any fun? What you getting out of living? Who cares for what you've got if you're not having any fun? Are you having any laughs? Are you getting any loving? If other people do, why can't you have a little fun? And have a little fun.
From nutritious feed to 7 times omega, enjoy the goodness of Nature Egg Omega Plus eggs. A lot goes into a little at Burnbrae Farms.
Concacaf Champions Cup on One Soccer is brought to you by Allstate.
After weeks of anticipation, Vancouver's big night has finally arrived. For the next 2 hours, this Vancouver, British Columbia, BC Place is the center of the footballing universe. And as if this was a Broadway performance, or alas, this is Western Canada, the biggest show on the West End. Jesper Sorensen and his Whitecaps. The Major League Soccer leading Whitecaps have in front of them one of the biggest games in club history, certainly the biggest in modern Vancouver Whitecaps history. There is no doubt. It took stoppage time heroics in the altitude of Mexico City for the Whitecaps to land here in the semi-final of the Concacaf Champions Cup. And now they are just 3 matches away from continental supremacy. When you look at the lineups, you look at your screen right now, you think, what is this, a charity match, an all-star match? No. The fact that this is a semi-final adds to the fact that a living, breathing Mount Rushmore of football is about to play the best club in Canada. And it's fitting, as Vancouver has become Canada's footballing capital, and this incredible month that they've had from the Champions Cup, from the fact the Caps are the Supporters' Shield leaders, national team, Vancouver rise, and now Lionel Messi, Sergio Busquets, Luis Suarez, Jordi Alba, etc. It is certainly a pinch-me moment. A game that will be one that lives long in the memories of these Whitecaps supporters, could become a night that fuels nostalgia for multiple generations for years and years to come. You can't oversell a match when Lionel Messi is in tow. And what makes this even more incredible and even more special is the fact that Vancouver Whitecaps believe, and should believe, that they have an opportunity to win this match and put themselves in that domination position heading south to Chase Stadium. It is one of the longest trips in all of football, and the veterans are here for Inter Miami. Can this core for Vancouver Whitecaps that has been hardened through hardship and injury step up and deliver a magical night in British Columbia? The Concacaf anthem, ladies and gentlemen, followed by starting 11s and team news. Let's let the crowd take it away. No stage can be bigger than this in continental football when you have the likes of Lionel Messi, Alba, Busquets, Suarez, and the best team in the league that Inter Miami competes in. This Vancouver Whitecaps side, led by Brian White on their home turf, with more than 54,000 supporters expected to watch what